Hello students, welcome back to another session of Political Science class with me, Meza. Today, I will be continuing with the previous class, the chapter that we have started, that is chapter 2, the party system. In the previous class, we have already discussed and learned the meaning of political party, the features of a political party, the role and functions of a political party, and the defects of party system. But we have also come to a conclusion that party system is an essential part and parcel of a political party. So today we'll be discussing the party system, the evolution of the party system in India, and the various phases of party system in India. So, in party system, we have 4 different kinds of party system. The first one is the one-party system. The second one is the dominant party system, and the third one is the two-party system and the multi-party system. The first one, that is the one-party system, under this system, there is a single mass party. Usually it is led by one person. The best example that we can take is the Nazi and the fascists, Mussolini and Hitler. They were dictators, and they did not allow any other political party besides their party to exist. And we have also discussed in communist countries, the constitution do not allow other political party except the ruling party to exist. So besides that, at one time or the other, there were some other countries like Myanmar, Iran, Ghana, Kenya, they had a one-party system. So that is one-party system. The dominant party system, that is the second one, the dominant party system. Dominant party system. Under this, we can take the example of the Congress dominance in the first, second, and third general election in India. In India, we have seen that the Congress has dominated the political scene for some few years consecutively. So this is what we called it the dominant party system. Under the dominant party system, other political parties may exist, but the one party becomes very dominant that the other political parties are not able to win the elections and come to power. So that the best example can be the Congress in India. Then we have the two-party system. Two-party system. The third one is the two-party system. The two-party system. Under this, there exist 2 major political parties. There may be other political parties also, but then the voters, in this kind of system, they vote mainly for the two major political party. Example can be taken from Great Britain till 2010. After 2010, they don't have two-party system, but till 2010, there was the Conservative Party and the Labour Party. There were other parties existing besides that also. But these two parties, Conservative and the Labour Party, were so dominant that people were voting for these two political parties. But by 2010, the Liberal Democratic Party broke this chain, so they don't have two-party system anymore. But that is what we called it, a two-party system. Then the fourth one and the last one is the multi-party system. Multi-party system. Under this multi-party system, we see that there are more than two political parties that are functioning equally. So in a country where there is multi-party system, usually the governments are coalition governments. And one example we can take as of now is that even in India, we have coalition government. And from here, in India, we see that more than 45 national parties are there which are represented in the parliament itself. Forget about the states. Even in the center, we see that more than 45 national parties besides the state and the regional parties, they take part in the Lok Sabha election. And then since 1989, coalition government has been forming and the era of coalition has come into the political scene in India. So that is what is multi-party system. Now, moving on to the next subheading is that evolution of party system in India. We have already discussed in the previous classes that the Congress National Party is one of the oldest national political parties in India. It was founded in 1885 by A.O. Hume, and A.O. Hume is known as the founding father of the Indian National Congress. So besides the Congress, even before independence, there was the Muslim League, which was founded in 1906, the Hindu Mahasabha in 1916, the Communist Party of India in 1925, and the Congress Socialist Party in 1934. The Congress Socialist Party, actually, it is within the Congress Party which broke out from within the Congress Party and formed the Congress Socialist Party. But here, it is not because they have different views also. With the blessing of Congress leaders, the Congress Socialist Party was formed in 1934. Besides that, there were so many other parties which were functioning before the independence of India also. But when we look at the party system after the independence of India, there were various phases in the Indian political scene. The first phase, we can say, is the one-party dominant system. One-party dominant system we have been discussing, we have already learned in the previous classes, like where the Congress has dominated the first three general elections, and then they were ruling the country. So that was the phase which is known as the one-party dominant system. And some political writers and analysts, they also say that this period as the Congress system or the one-party dominant system. Of course, besides the Congress, even during these days, there were the parties like the Muslim League, the Communist Party of India, all these Hindu Mahasabha, all these parties were existing side by side. And then it's just that the Congress had the ability to win the election again and again and form the government in the center as well as in most of the states in India. That particular phase is known as the one-party dominant phase. Then after that, there was a brief spell of two-party system in India. Now we are focused on India. So there was a brief spell of two-party system. This system, the brief spell, it happened after the proclamation of emergency in June 1975. During the rule of Mrs. Indira Gandhi, there was a proclamation, national proclamation of emergency, and that was in June 1975. I should write down the date in the board. You should keep it in mind. June 1975. That was the proclamation of emergency. National emergency. And after the end of the emergency period in 1975, the end of the emergency period, elections was held in March 1977. And in this election, what happened was that a new party known as the Janata Party, they emerged victorious in the election. In 1977 election, they emerged victorious. And then for the first time in the history of India, the Congress had to sit in the opposition bench. So that was the first experience for the Congress because they have been ruling, they have been in power for so long. And this particular phase, it's known as the two-party system. Why? Because more than 80% of the voters in India, they voted either for the Janata Party or the Congress Party. Therefore, we call this phase as the two-party system. But this phase, unfortunately, it was short-lived because in 1979, the Janata government failed with the resignation of the Prime Minister Morarji Desai. So it was a very brief spell. Then came the phase, after that, then came the phase of the personality cult in the Congress. Here, I want to mention something, I want to correct myself something. In the previous class, I told you, I was taking the example of Congress regarding the power defects of party system, where the power had been usurped by the party bosses. Here we have to make it clear that here I'm talking about the personality cult. Okay, I'm not against the Congress or I'm not in favor of Congress like that. It's just that because of the personality cult, there is less democracy within the Congress party. So that is what I have to say. So coming back to our class now here. During this phase of personality cult in the Congress, in the 1980, after the Janata government failed in 1979, in 1980, general elections was held, and the Janata, which political party was ruling in the previous government, they got only 31 seats in the Lok Sabha, whereas the Congress got again 351 seats. So the Congress came back to power, but with a different system. Before they were called the Congress Party, but after 1980, it became Congress I. Okay, Congress I stands for Congress Indira. And then in that way, the Congress Party is identified by the personality of Mrs. Indira Gandhi, something like that. So that is what we are talking about, personality cult. And then that particular cult was carried on by Rajiv Gandhi. Here, we see some serious consequences of the personality cult. Why do I say serious consequences? Because the party, the first point is the party became intolerant to opposition. Intolerant to opposition not only from other political parties, but even within the Congress party. If a congressman is not in favor of the decisions taken by the leader, that particular Congress member is left out or is forced to resign, something like that. So they became very intolerant to any kind of opposition. So that was one serious consequence of the personality cult. The second one is that the opposition parties, they have also tasted power, even if it was for a brief period of time, they have tasted power. So they were not in a position to excuse any wrongdoings of the Congress. So the ruling party and the opposition, they were almost every time confronting each other regarding their policies and regarding the programs that the ruling power is implementing. So those were the two main serious consequences that happened during this phase with the phase of the personality cult. Then came, with this confrontation, it resulted into what? It resulted into a multi-party system in the Indian political scene, and the coalition politics. In the before 1989, either it was the Janata, either it was the Congress political party or the Janata. Now, after 1989, the National Front came to power. And by National Front is a coalition government. And then it is led by BJP. The main constituent of the National Front party were, besides the BJP, the Janata Dal, the Congress S, the Telugu Desam Party, and the Assam Gana Parishad. These were the main constituent of the National Front government. And the era of coalition started from here. And the National Front government also could not rule the government for long, because by November 1990, they just came to power in 1989, but by November 1990, their government failed, and then midterm election was held in 1991, which resulted in a hung parliament. A hung parliament is a parliament where no political party gets majority. So anyway, even in 1991, even though the Congress did not get majority, they were the political party which got the maximum number of seats. So they tried to form the government, and it was very unstable. And then we see that from 1996 to May to October 1998 in India, there were 4 governments formed. Okay, one government came up which was very unstable, they failed, and the other opposition party formed the government, and like that. So there was four governments between May 1996 and October 1998. So we see that it was a very unstable period in the political scene in India during this period. Then after that, the era of coalition continued. But when we look at the present government, that is the Narendra Modi's government, yes, it is a coalition government, but it is a little different from other coalition government, because the BJP alone, they got 82 seats out of 543 elected seats in the Lok Sabha. So they were the political party which got the maximum number of seats, and but then, even before contesting the election, what happened was that the BJP have made some alliances with some other political parties. So when they came to power, the alliance continued. Therefore, we still have a coalition government in the present day. So that was the multi-party system and the coalition politics which is still existing in India. Before we move on, I would like to highlight the points that we have already discussed again, because I think I've gone a little fast, so I'll highlight some more points here before we end the class. We have already discussed like the one-party system, where we have the example is the Nazi and the fascists, and in communist countries, plus some other Asian and African countries like Myanmar, Iran, Ghana, Zimbabwe, and Kenya. We have the dominant party system, we have the dominant party system. Then we also have the two-party system, which we have taken the example of Great Britain with the Conservative Party and the Labour Party, which ended in 2010, which was the chain of the two-party system was broken by the Liberal Democratic Party. Then we have the multi-party system. We took the example of India. And something which I've not mentioned is that in the one-party dominance that in India, in the various phases of party system, one major point that I forgot to mention is that in 1962, there was an aggression by the Chinese government on the Indian border in 1962, which resulted in the misunderstanding within the Communist Party of India. The Communist Party of India, there were so many misunderstandings within the party that the party split in 1964, and then one group became the Communist Party of India, and the other group became the Communist Party of India Marxist, that is in 1964. The Communist Party of India and India Marxist. In short, we call CPI and M. So this party came into existence in 1964. That was after the aggression of the Chinese on the Indian border. So that point I've forgotten to highlight, so you please keep this in mind. The Communist Party of India, 1964. So that was one major point which I've forgotten, so you please keep that in mind. Then we have also discussed a brief spell of two-party system where after the implementation of the national emergency in 1975, with the end of the national emergency in March 1977, the general election conducted where the Janata Party came to power. And how the Janata Party was formed, that also I would like to highlight here. The Janata Party, how it was formed was that many of the opposition leaders were jailed during the time of emergency in 1975. So behind bars, these leaders, they are all political leaders, so they are inside the jail, they are behind bars, but still they have so many opinions. So what happened was that they decided to form a party called the Janata Party. Okay, so when they were released from the jail and then general election was conducted in March 1977, they contested the election in this way. And the main aim of the Janata Party was to pull down the Congress government. That was the main aim. And fortunately, they were successful, but their political power lasted very short because by 1979, their government failed again. It was very unstable. There were so many political parties combined together to form the Janata Party. So all these members, they were leaders in their own political party. So everyone wanted to have their own share of power. So in this way, they could not properly decide who will be the leader of their party also. And in that way, their government was very unstable. And then as a result of that, by July 1979, their government failed. The prime minister during that time, who was Morarji Desai, he resigned. And then fresh election, general election was conducted in 1980. So with that, we come to the end of this class, but I would like to recap the points that we have already discussed in the previous class and till now. The first class, we have discussed the meaning of a political party. the features of a political party, the roles and function of a political party, which in your book they have mentioned 8 roles. So that was what we have discussed, and the defects of party system. Today we have discussed the different party system, that is the one-party system, the dominant party system, the two-party system, the multi-party system, and the evolution of the party system in India. That is political parties which existed before the independence of India, like the Congress Party, the Muslim League, the Hindu Mahasabha, the Congress Socialist Party, which was formed in 1934 with the blessings of Congress. And we have also discussed the parties in India, the various phases of party system in India. That was the one-party dominant system, which I've told you that regarding the one-party system, where the Congress have dominated the political scene. But in 1962, what happened was that within some other political parties, like the Communist Party, there was a split because of the Chinese aggression. So many misunderstandings came among the Communist Party members, and then with the split, the Communist Party of India, Marxist, was formed in 1964. Then the brief spell of the two-party system, where in June 1975, emergency was proclaimed in India. And after emergency, the election which was held in March 1977, the Janata Party came to power. And in this election, the most significant outcome was that we had the voters in India. More than 80% of the voters, they voted either for the Janata Party or the Congress Party. But then the Janata Party could not rule India for long, and their government failed in 1979. Then came the phase of the personality cult in the Congress. After the 1980 general election, the Congress Party also, the name of the Congress Party changed into the Congress I, which means Congress Indira. And then the Congress Party it was identified with the name of Indira Gandhi. After Indira Gandhi, it was Rajiv Gandhi. Then because of this personality cult, there were 2 serious consequences. The first was that the Congress Party became intolerant to any kind of opposition, not only from other opposition parties, but even within the Congress Party. Then the second one was that the opposition also, they have tasted power once, so therefore they were not going to excuse the government when they see any fault of the government. That was another serious consequence, because there was so many confrontation between the ruling government and the representatives who were in the opposition bench, which resulted in the formation of a multi-party system, or the coalition politics. And then in this multi-party and coalition politics, we see the rise of so many regional as well as state parties in the parliament. With that, we come to the end of our today's class. I hope you have understood, you have followed me, and I hope all of you will stay home and stay safe. Thank you.